Hi there and welcome to this video, which is a therapeutic yoga sequence specifically designed for the month of June with highly sensitive and neurodivergent people in mind. So if that suits you, then get your mat, roll it out, find a place that's quiet or as quiet as it can be, and let's get started. So if you're brand new, just before we get started, my name is Nicola. I'm a highly sensitive person, a neurodivergent person myself. And yoga can be a really helpful therapeutic tool to support you in your self-care. This month is quite an interesting one because in traditional seasonal yoga, we would be working with practices that are invigorating and strengthening, and they very much still have a place, 100%. However, generally speaking, if you're highly sensitive, neurodivergent, and you're managing things like anxiety, stress, and overwhelm on a daily basis, then what I've found is to adapt that a little bit. So in this practice today, we're going to focus on using this time to just go slowly and find some pauses to help relieve any stress and tension from our bodies and just quieten the senses, quieten the minds a little bit. So if you feel okay, we're going to start seated. Now I'm quite happy here in cross-legged. If you want to sit on a chair, you're welcome to. Or you can sit as I am with some blocks or cushions underneath your bum, or you can stretch your legs out, whatever is comfortable for you. And just having your hands softly on your knees or in your lap. And then if you're happy, just closing the eyes. And if you'd rather not close your eyes, just gaze off into the distance, that is fine. And let's take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, just to settle into this shape. You want to subtly arrange yourself so that you feel even through your sitting bones. And there's a sense of length through your spine, although you're not overarching your back, there's just a gentle draw upwards. And maybe allowing the shoulders and the hips just to soften down a little bit. And now using this as a chance really to just notice your body. Just taking your awareness, if you can, through the head and the shoulders. Just checking what's here, any sensations. Any sensations are fine. This is just a practice to notice and be aware. Noticing your arms, your chest, your back, your belly, hips, and both legs and feet. Your whole body, just noticing what is here for a moment. And then when you're ready, bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your chest. We're going to take 5 slow, steady, full breaths in. So as you breathe in, feel both hands expand out and upwards. And as you breathe out, let them sink down as they go along for the ride with this movement in your belly. Just really trying to not rush through this and allow each breath to be as long as feels comfortable. And then when you're ready, we'll release the hands and just start to imagine you're drawing a circle with the tip of your nose, and so you start to just roll the head back and forwards as you're rolling round in a circle. allowing your neck to get a little bit of movement, a bit of a stretch. And if your neck's feeling super tender, it might be just on one side or both or the back. Just go really steady, moving in a really caring way so that you're not overdoing it. Going in the opposite direction if you haven't already. And staying with those slow and steady breaths as you move. And then slowly coming back to the middle. And then we'll draw the shoulders up towards the ears, take a big breath in, and then roll them down the back as you breathe out. Let's take 2 more, breathing in. And breathing out. Last one, breathing in. And breathing out. Nice. So keeping your sitting bones rooted, we'll reach up towards the ceiling, breathing in, lengthening both sides of your waist, and then we'll bring the right hand down and reach over towards the right with our left hand. But at the same time, we're keeping this left side of the waist long, and so I like to think lifting up that left side of my body and just drawing that right shoulder away from my ear. Now you can gaze down, you can gaze in the middle, you can gaze at whatever feels good. And then we're going to take a couple of breaths here. So breathing into that left side of the body, as if that side can really expand outwards. And then on your next breath, we'll reach all the way back up towards the ceiling. And over to the other side. Again, rather than crunching down in that left side, lift up and out through your right. And then we breathe. And then on the next inhale, we'll reach towards the ceiling once again. And then as you breathe out, we'll take the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, and imagine drawing the shoulders down towards the fists or down towards the ground, and slightly puffing out the chest as you squeeze those shoulder blades together. And we can breathe into this space, so breathing into the space of the chest, which may be feeling a bit tight, or I don't know, may have a bit of restriction there. It's a really common place to have tension. And you might like to bring the chin to the chest and just start to kind of wobble the head from side to side a little bit to get into the neck. Another common place for holding tension. Take another deep breath in. And as you breathe out, release the hands gently. And you might just want to give them another roll. Maybe give the wrists a little bit of a roll if that blood rushes back in. Okay, so coming onto your all fours, and I've got my nice little rug here. If your knees are a bit tender, you might want to have something under them. And just having your knees underneath your hips and wrists underneath your shoulders. And we'll go for a couple of rounds of cat and cow. So dropping the belly as you breathe in, lifting the chest. And then importantly, pressing into the mat with your hands, your tops of your feet, your shins as you round the back and breathe out. Breathing in and breathing out. If it feels good, close your eyes here. And just as we did at the beginning, start to notice what's going on in your body. And if there's a specific pocket of tension or little niggly feelings, see how you can make this movement do what it needs to do. What kind of stretch does your body need? Maybe you want to have a little wobble from side to side, or a rock backwards and forwards, or some circles. All is welcome. There's no right or wrong way. keeping that breath slow and deep if you can. And if you're not sure, just stay with your cat and cow. These are two beautiful movements, really good for the spine. Really good for releasing tension from the middle of the body. And then when you're ready, just pause back in child's pose for a moment. So take the hips back and just let the forearms come down to the mat as you roll the wrists round, maybe wiggle the fingers, just to stretch through the wrists. And then we'll come back to all fours, and keeping yourself as you are, you want to find neutral with your spine. So I like to do a little mini cat and cow and then try and find the middle. And maybe think about slightly drawing the lower belly in so that your core is switched on. And imagine pressing hands and legs down into the ground so that you can feel that strength and that heat start to build. Hold this as you tuck the toes, and then pressing down, we're going to lift the knees off of the ground. Hold it, take a breath in, and then breathe out, lower down. Let's take another one. Getting that tension back in through the belly, lifting the knees, breathe in, and breathe out, lower the knees. Starting to feel that heat. Now, if you've got extra bendy joints, you might want to just keep those elbows pressing out a little bit. And if the wrists are not happy, ball them up. You can also put your forearms on the edge of some stacked blocks, or on the edge of, I don't know, a table or a chair or something. Okay, that's next one. Charge up the core, lift the knees, take a breath in, and then breathe out, lower down. Take a little pause in child's pose, release the wrists. And then coming back when you're ready to all fours. This time we're going to do that movement again, but we're going to hold it for 3 breaths unless it's not for you, and in which case, just leave it. Okay, charge up the core, press into the mat. Tuck the toes. Breathe. 3 breaths, that's your first. Take another. Neck is nice and long. Last one. And lower down the knees to the mat as you breathe out. Sink your hips back, wrap your arms alongside the legs. Forehead either to the mat or maybe on a brick or a block or hands. And let's take 2 or 3 breaths here just to pause and feel our body. Notice how you're feeling. Being aware of what that movement has done in your body. Okay, so coming all the way back to your all fours, tucking the toes, lifting the hips high and back for down dog. If this isn't for you, you can always do this same shape with your hands on the edge of a chair, walking your feet back so you've got these 2 long lines in your body, legs and upper body and arms. And if you want to paddle the feet and have a little bit of a sway from side to side, then do. Otherwise, let's pause here to feel how it is to breathe in this shape, slow and steady. Keep pressing firmly into the mat with your hands and your feet. Imagine the shoulder blades drawing down the back so you're not hanging out in your shoulders. There's a little bit of integrity through the middle of the body. One more breath. Lowering the knees back to the mat, keeping those knees underneath the hips as we walk our hands towards the top of the mat, lowering the head down towards the mat for puppy pose. Now your head doesn't have to be on the floor, it could be on blocks, bricks, a couple of cushions, or you could bring the arms, the forearms across here for your head. But the idea is that the hips stay over the knees and we start to let the chest move towards the ground. Doesn't matter which variation you're taking. But if your tops of your feet and your shins are just kind of flapping around, think about pressing them down into the mat with a little bit of firmness and notice what happens to the belly. Thinking about the chest moving down to the ground rather than just hanging out in the lower back. So there's a bit of tension in that lower belly, but the chest is kind of surrendering down. Let's take 3 more breaths, breathing into your belly, your ribs, your chest, your back. And using the exhale as a way to release down. And then when you're ready, press a little bit more firmly down through the legs. Lift yourself up, bringing the arms back underneath you for all fours. And then tuck the toes and come back to your downward facing dog. Just notice how it feels now. Take a full breath in. And then as you breathe out, walking your feet towards your hands slowly, or the hands towards your feet slowly. Take your time. And then let's rest in a standing forward fold. Bend your knees as much as you need. Let your head go, let your arms go. If this feels too deep for your body, you can come up a little bit further. You can rest your hands on the edge of a chair table, on some bricks, on your legs. You might like to sway from side to side. And then take a really big breath in, fill your back, your belly, your ribs, your chest. And as you breathe out, let's roll up to stand. Roll the shoulders when you get to the top. Nice. Okay. Standing in mountain pose, so feeling strong through the heels, letting that long line lift you up through the body. Take a full breath in. Lift the arms, full breath out, back down. Breathing in, full breath in. This time, hold on to that left wrist. Lift the left side of the body up and over, a bit like we did in seated. So you're getting that side bend, keeping your left heel anchored as much as the right. Pausing here, or if you want to, leaning onto the right leg and taking the left up behind you a little bit, stepping back through that heel, a little light stretch through the calf there. Keep lifting up through the left. Breathing deeply. And then when you're ready, coming back to center, releasing the arms, give them a good roll through the shoulders. And then we'll take the opposite side. Big breath in, lifting up both sides of the waist, holding onto the right wrist this time, and starting to lift up and over for that side bend. Pausing to breathe here, keeping both feet anchored. And then if you want to, you can bear the weight into the left foot and start to step that right foot back to get that little calf stretch, and just sort of intensifies that, that curved shape. Okay, and when you're ready, coming all the way back to center, releasing the arms back down, giving the shoulders another roll. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see, but standing at the top of your mat now, bringing your hands to your waist. And we'll step the right foot back onto the flat of the foot for warrior legs, bending into that left knee, and then taking a big breath in as you reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And as you breathe out, slowly straighten off that front knee, send the arms back and come to lean forwards. Nice long line through the spine there. Slowly breathing in, rebending into your warrior one. Hugging those lower ribs in if you can. Breathing out, straightening off that knee, returning to like a variation on pyramid pose for those in the know. Let's take one more. And then breathing out, finding that long line. Keep reaching the arms back, drawing those shoulders away from the ears. And let's pause here. Feel like all sides of the neck are even. One more breath. Firm through the feet. And then when you're ready, breathing in back to warrior one. Pivot yourself around to a wide-legged shape. Reach those palms out, spread through the fingers, lift the chest and breathe in. And then lower the arms and heel toe the feet together. Okay, I'll turn this way so you can see me. Step back to the top of your mat. Hands on the waist. This time we're sending the opposite leg back. Left foot back this time. Bending into the right knee. Reaching tall for warrior one. Breathe in. Breathing out to straighten off that knee. Reaching back for your pyramid variation. Slow and steady. Breathing in to reach towards the ceiling. And breathing out. Breathing in, warrior one. Breathing out, pyramid variation. And then we'll pause. Couple of breaths. Strong through the legs. Shoulders moving away from your ears. Okay, on your next breath in, reach back towards the ceiling for warrior one. And then pivot open, nice wide shape. Toes can point out for now. Release the hands down towards the legs. Bring the hands to the waist. And then bring the toes in, heels out. Roll the shoulders back. Take a breath in as you lift the chest. And then start to hinge forwards at the hips to a point that feels good for you. You can slide the hands down the legs and rest there. Or go a little bit further. Maybe the hands reach the ankles, the feet or the floor. Letting the head go. If you want to, you could maybe take a little wiggle from side to side, bending into one knee then the other, but otherwise let's just pause here. Notice your body, what's feeling what. Can you take a slow and steady breath in, slow and steady breath out. And then when you're ready, bring your hands to your lower back, press into the feet and steadily, slowly come all the way up. Heel toe the feet together. And give everything a little bit of a wiggle if that feels like the right thing to do. So we're going to come down to a kneel. Pop anything underneath the knees that you would like. And we'll come up onto a high kneel for a camel pose variation. Now you might want to tuck the toes. If you've practiced this shape before and you know what you're doing with it, then go for it. But we'll just take a gentle variation to start with and then we'll take it from there. So have your knees underneath your hips. Make your spine nice and long and get a balance between the front and the back of the body. So you want to have a little bit of a lift in through the belly so you're not kind of just hanging out. So what I mean by that, imagine drawing your lower belly in a little bit. And then we'll plant the hands on the lower back, squeeze the elbows in, shoulder blades moving closer towards each other. And this actually might be enough if you're already feeling some tension across the chest there. Stay here and focus your breathing in the front of the body. Otherwise, with that little bit of tension in through the belly, push the hips forwards, just a little bit. And then think about lifting the chest up. And again, this may well be enough. If you've got those toes tucked and you feel okay to do so, keeping a bit of tension in the belly there as you hinge back through the knees and maybe place the hands on the heels. Or if you've got a block or something behind you, you can press your hands into that for a bit more support. Keep drawing the shoulders back. Let's keep the neck nice and long rather than just letting it hang out. And then breathe into all of that space at the front of the body. 2 more breaths. Lifting up and out evenly, and then coming to sit down on the heels. Hand on the belly, hand on the chest, closing the eyes. We'll take 3 breaths in, 3 breaths out, nice and steady. After that 3rd breath or so, we'll shift the hips to one side and sweep the legs out in front of us. I'm going to come down onto the back. And when we get there, let's just bring our knees into our chest and take a few circles with the knees, going one way and then the other. And it might be that you want to part the knees as you circle them or keep them together, it's up to you. Decide what feels best in your body. And then plant the knees down on the mat. Have your hands out wide, or like me, if you're struggling for space, just cactus the arms. And we'll just start to sway the knees from side to side. Still breathing slow and steady. And then if there's any other movement you need to do, feel free to do it. Otherwise, we're going to stretch out one leg and then the other, one arm and the other. You can come and close the eyes, or feel free to pop a blanket on, place something over your eyes. Just getting yourself set up for Shavasana or corpse pose, just for a couple of minutes. And once you're there, let's take a few sign breaths. Breathe in through the nose. Feel your body, hold the breath at the top, and then let it go. Let's do that twice more. Big breath in. Pause at the top, and let it go. Take one more in your own time. And then, just as we did at the beginning, checking in with all your parts of your body. Maybe giving them a little whisper just to let go for a short period of time. Your head, face, neck, shoulders, arms and hands, shoulder blades, full length of your spine, chest and ribs, your belly, your buttocks, hips, pelvis, thighs, knees, calves and shins, your feet and your toes, the front of your body and the back of your body. Just resting for a moment now. So if you can stay a short while longer, then do, but otherwise taking a steady breath in. Wiggling fingers and toes, taking a stretch as if it's the first time after waking today. And then maybe rolling to one side before pressing yourself back up to a seated position of your choice. And then just pausing there for a moment to, again, just check in with how you feel. Perhaps noticing what shifted for you. And importantly, before you go on with the rest of your day, just noticing what it is that you might need now. You might want to place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and just listen to your body, what it's saying to you, what it needs now. And blinking open when you're ready. Thank you so much for joining me and taking time to look after yourself. I hope you've enjoyed it, and of course, if you have, I'd really appreciate you liking this video, sharing it with any other fellow sensitives or neurodivergent people that you know and love, and of course subscribing to my channel. Okay, take care for now, and I'll see you next time.